Eighth Burial family, you're welcome to another episode of our delicious Eighth Burial baking class. Today, I'm going to indulge you with a recipe that changes the narrative completely. You see, when people see banana bread, sometimes I just feel it's banana cake. It's cake disguised as a banana bread. But today, we're going to make a nourishing version of it that your body actually needs, that serves you instead of sweetening your blood sugar up. All right, so let's get into it. Today we're going to make banana bread with our very own eighth burial protein flour. Yes, we're not going to be using any sugar. We're going to be using dates and honey. We're going to be using olive oil instead of regular old-fashioned butter or margarine. And of course, other healthy things that I'm going to be introducing later. So first up, as I said, our very own protein flour. As you can see here, dry ingredients. This is weighed 250 grams of eighth burial protein flour that is sprouted. Whole grain sprouted protein flour is what we're going to be using today for our banana bread. Next up is banana. Very ripe or overripe bananas are suitable for making the best banana bread. Apart from the fact that they are sweeter, they are actually more moist and it keeps the bread nice and moist. And of course, it helps it it is easier digested in your system. Do you understand? In your stomachs, exactly. And then, of course, as I said, for our sweetener, we're going to be using honey. But for this recipe, honey is not just a sweetener. Honey keeps the bread fresh and moist for days, and it's also a natural preservative. I'm sure you didn't know that, but if you did, let me reinforce it. But if you did not know that, honey is a natural preservative. So honey is very important for keeping this bread fresh and soft for days. And here we have our leavening agent, which is baking powder. I've explained a lot about baking powder in our previous sessions. So baking powder is a leavening agent that helps to give our bread rise and whatever we're baking. But today, something interesting is going to be happening. We're going to be adding vinegar with our baking powder in banana bread. The chemical reaction that takes place when you add baking powder and vinegar is a bubble. You see it, do you understand? It begins to foam up. Now that is going to help our bread rise better. It will help our bread come up and give it better structure. So we're going to be adding vinegar to this recipe to boost the activity of our baking powder. And of course, we have dates. Dates are a natural sweetener, but they are not just natural sweetener. They are also rich in fiber. Your body needs a lot of dates. Now, with dates, what makes dates different from regular sugar is that date is easy to digest and it doesn't spike your sugar levels like processed sugar does because it enters your bloodstream much slower, but it's still sweet. So that's about it. It makes the bread natural. Olive oil here, which is a heart-friendly oil. But we're actually going all natural on this our recipe. So this is our olive oil, and of course we have water. Not hot, but warm water. Warm water is the magic for this recipe. It keeps our bread moist and soft. So you want your water to be warm, not hot, but warm, so that it really help our bread remain soft and moist, as I said earlier. And of course, we're going with 2 eggs. And what is banana bread without eggs? Except if you're on a vegetarian diet, then you're going to be using baking soda, baking powder, and vinegar. People will never know that there's no egg inside, but we're going to add eggs to this recipe today. And then for texture and for crunch, I'm going to add some fresh desiccated coconuts. I processed this coconut myself. They're fresh. I stir fried them, just made them very delicious on my own. So they are not processed. They're bought fresh and grated. And then, of course, I have sunflower seeds here for topping the banana bread. So we're going all in with our healthy banana bread. So let's get right into it. First thing you want to do with banana bread is to mix in your wet ingredients, combine them, then you mix in your dry ingredients separately, combine them before you mix all of them in together. So we're starting with the wet ingredients. We're going in with 250 grams of the bananas. 250 grams of bananas. That's roughly 6 fingers of a medium-sized banana. Yeah. So, okay. Now I'm going to mash it because you need the bananas to be mashed. Now, what exactly is so special about bananas? Bananas are high in potassium. They are very, very good in potassium. So they are very good for your body, very good for your bone, and helps your body function properly. Apart from that, they are natural source of starch. So they give you energy. I Whenever I'm just trying to snack healthy, let's say I step out of the house and I'm looking for something healthy to eat as a snack, you can never go wrong with bananas. I just get bananas and ready to eat, sweet, gives you energy, keeps you full. So bananas are really, really one of the greatest gifts of nature, apart from every other natural blessing that the earth has been endowed with. So I don't really like mashing my banana to smoothness my banana bread, because I like seeing that tree, all those lumps of bananas. Sorry about that. My whisk has given in. Let me just fix it up. Exactly. Oops. All right. So I just like seeing chunks of banana in my banana bread. So I think this is okay for me. I hope you can see what I have here. Yeah. So this is just good. So now I'm going to continue adding my wet ingredients, as I said earlier. All right. So next up, I'm going in with the dates. This is a date syrup, blended and mashed already. So I'm going to add 100 grams of date syrup into this banana. 100 grams is what I need. And then for the honey, I'm going in with 50 grams of honey. So this is the honey, right? Good. So I'm going to show you everything after I combine it together. All right. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. So 50 grams of honey goes into this. Who says healthy eating cannot be sweet? At 8 Berry, we are debunking that myth. You can eat healthy and it can still be sweet and nice and delicious and whatever nice name you want to call it. So that's about it. And then oil, I'm going to be adding 100 grams of our olive oil. Perfect. 100 grams. Yep. Of course, our eggs. When I'm breaking the eggs, I'm putting it right into this mixture, like so. Oops. And second one goes in. Exactly. So, protein flour. What is protein flour? Protein flour is a specially formulated kind of flour that 8 Berry uses to make its protein bread. But we have been able to discover that protein flour works with almost all baked goods. So, protein flour made by 8 Berry is made with sprouted whole grains, sprouted whole legumes like soybeans, kidney beans, lentils, beans, white beans, red beans, and barley, rye, and wheat. Now, this is specially formulated and sprouted within. The process of sprouting these grains helps the flour or helps the grains release the anti-nutrients locked up in the grains. Every grain God has made on this earth has grains, has the nutrients locked up inside. It is when you sprout the grains that you're able to allow these grains release the nutrients locked inside. So we sprout these grains, like waking them up, and after sprouting, these grains are dried and processed to give this beautiful protein flour you're seeing here today. So now we're going to be adding our baking powder. The recipe calls for about 6 grams of baking powder, which is about half a tablespoon of baking powder. So baking powder, I'm just pouring it into the protein flour. I've already zeroed my scale. So remember yesterday I said that if you want to always have accurate measurements while baking, please do not skip on measurements. Always make sure you measure every single thing so that you always have your measurements accurate. All right. So I'm going to give this a good mix, making sure that our dry ingredients are well incorporated. First of all, I'm mixing up the baking powder very, very well. I want it to be well combined. I have not added the vinegar yet because I want to make sure that I'm putting the vinegar at the same time I'm pouring the dry mixture. I don't want to give the vinegar time to snooze and lose because I want that bubbly effect I was talking about. Yeah. So now I've mixed the inside. It's well incorporated. Now I'm going to be going in with my salt. All right. So, when you're baking, you don't want to ever skip on salt. Don't think salt is small, though. Salt is unimportant. Salt is not just for flavor. Salt also gives texture. So I'm going to be pouring in 4 grams of salt. Exactly 4 grams. Just what I needed is what I added. So I'm done with these. As for water, when it comes to water when you're baking, I always emphasize that you add water with caution. The recipe calls for 100 grams of water, so I'm going to be adding it slowly. I'm not going to go in and pour 100 grams of water at once. I won't do that, so that I will not run into problems. So let me whisk in my salt properly. Make sure we have a good mix. Good. So now back to the vinegar and water parts. We're using 5 grams of vinegar for this recipe. Remember, I said vinegar has acidity that helps balance or helps increase the work of the baking powder in the recipe. So vinegar is very, very important for this recipe. Then 100 grams of water. So it's not because they say 100 grams, then you now go and pour all the 100 grams at once. It might even need more than 100 grams, but just go in with half first. And then you use your good judgment as you go. All right, so see what we have here as far as the wet ingredients are concerned. Can you see this? Good. So everything is smooth and looking nice. So now we're going to whisk. I'm not whisking at this point. I'm mixing, folding in the dry ingredients slowly. You don't want to mix and overmix the bitter. So now I'm going with my ladle and I'm just folding, right? Good. It's a slow process, slowly and intentionally. You just want to fold. Fold until there are no lumps. Yeah. You can see this. I've not poured all though. So now I'm going to pour all in and continue with the food. This smells nice already, guys. You need to try this. This protein flour is everything. You can eat banana bread healthily. You see, I love banana bread though, but I just feel like there should be a better way to make it, and that was when I came up with this recipe. And I'm proud of myself for coming up with this recipe, because now I can eat banana bread as often as I want it. It's one other thing I love about the protein flour is that it's easy to digest. It doesn't bog your digestion at all. But sometimes you eat foods or baked goods and you struggle with indigestion or constipation. Not protein flour. You can use to bake just about anything. We're going to see it in this channel, and it's going to come out really nice and delicious and healthy. So when delicious meets healthy, what else are we looking for? Now this is our baking pan. It has already been lined for baking. So you can either use butter or you can use parchment paper to line your baking pan so that it doesn't burn up what you're baking. Now you can see this consistency. I think I want to add a little bit of water to it because it's supposed to be runny. Not too thick, not too watery, but it's supposed to really drop easily from the spoon. So this is dropping in chunks. It's supposed to run through a little smoother. So let me add the remaining water. Now you see I can add it safely because I've been able to check to see that I need the remaining water that the recipe calls for at this point. And then I fold, gently folding, not whisking. We're doing it gently. I'm not trying to form a gluten mesh at this point, and we don't want to introduce too much air. That is why we are folding. We're not trying to introduce air into the dough. So supposed to be a moist and dense bread. I don't want to ruin that. So you can see this practically running now at this point. So This is what I want. This consistency is perfect. And then we're just going with the banana bread into the pan. So you pour it into your pan. Can you see this? This looks amazing, isn't it? Or doesn't it? Looks amazing, right? It's absolutely amazing. All right, so I'm going to scrape off the sides because I don't want any of this goodies to go to waste. So if there's anyone watching me that has any questions, let me know your question. Let me know who you are, where you're watching me from, your name. Let's vibe. Let's engage. All right, I think this is about it. And we're good. So let me just swipe this off a bit. All right, so good, good, good. I'm going to pour the coconut on it. Yeah, it looks great. And then we go in with our pumpkin seeds. Sorry, sunflower seeds. Yeah, I'd already tossed and stir fried these sunflower seeds earlier. So this is giving healthy deliciousness. What it's berry is always known for. I can't wait for you to see what this baby is going to look like after she's baked. All right. So now my oven is already being preheated. I've already turned it on. I'm going to just put it into the oven and let it bake. All right. Good. Now, I had baked a batch earlier as I always do. And this is exactly what we have here. Isn't this just delicious? Isn't this just looking perfect? One would even hardly tell that there's anything different about this bread that makes it look like it's not made with conventional flour. Because it comes out exactly the same, right? When you eat it, your body speaks a different story. This is wholesome banana bread made with intention. You can always eat healthy and you can always eat well. Healthy eating can always, always, always be delicious. Always make sure to remember that every time. Let me cut it open and show you what the inside looks like. Give me a minute, please. Good, good, good. I'm here with my knife. All right, it's time to cut it open. Can you see this? Wow. Can you see the texture of this bread? Can you see how it falls? So delicious. It looks so good. Sorry, I'm just shitting it, talking to myself. Can you see it? Can you see how it looks? Can you see how it has built up? So protein flour actually is the flour to go to. It's the go-to flour. You don't have any issues with your baked goods when you're baking protein flour. And of course, when you use honey, you use it in a very, very good measure so that doesn't make your bread dense and make it fall in the oven. So you have to be very, very careful about how you go about it. Follow these measurements I gave you. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in today's session. If you have any questions, if you have any challenges, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. But for now, it's goodbye and see you on the next one tomorrow. Do have a lovely evening. Mm. Mm.